You're listening to Dude Check This Out, episode 18.
Hey there, everyone. It's time for Dude Check This Out. This week, it's happening. I got here a Kevin Land.
Hey, I'm sitting on the ground again.
Hey. Oh, I guess you are sitting on the ground again. We're not in your house this time again. We're in my house.
Yeah, but I'm sitting on the ground
Also
again.
sitting on the ground.
Because I didn't have somewhere to put my back against when I was sitting on your bed.
Oh,
So
you
now
can
I'm
steal a pillow.
Sitting on the ground.
No.
Hey,
Our guest is over there hogging all the pillows.
I'm petting the cat.
That's Jordan, by the way.
hi Jordan.
Hi, Kevin.
Saying things unsolicited.
Yeah,
Well, I guess I did say that. I guess
you did say the guest. You
I
did
did say it
bring
was
up.
Jordan Gurley.
Here I am, Jordan.
Yeah. Yeah.
And, as I said, I was petting your cat.
Yeah. Kiki's in here today because she refuses to leave
She's rubbing her face all over the side of your desk.
because she knows that you won't stop petting her.
I won't. But it also means she probably won't meow. She meows very loudly.
Yeah, she's
She
just purring
does.
a lot, but I don't think the mics are picking it up, so it's fine.
Here, you just put your mic right next to her and see if we can hear it.
I don't think Noah wants me
Alright,
to
I'll
do
do
that.
Yeah, it's picking up a little bit.
You kind of.
A little bit.
She like really freaked out when the mic
She's
hit her
like,
face. She's
"What are
like,
you doing?
What is that?
What is this?
Well,
now I'm
this
gonna have
isn't
those.
the cat podcast that I listen to,
not.
is it?
I'm gonna have hairs on this mic again. It's gonna really bother me.
Or that was 2 times ago. That was Fifth Element, I think.
Yeah, I don't know, man.
But yeah, we're here checking things out. This Dude Check This Out, where some friends and some other friends recommend stuff to each other to check out that they haven't checked out before, and talk about some fun stuff.
Yeah,
That's
ladies can be
the
dudes,
log
right?
line of the show. Sure,
Yeah. So Jordan, you're a dude today. You're one of the dudes
my dude.
All right,
that are checking out stuff.
You're my dude.
my dude.
My dude. Yeah. So, since
My
this is a
dude.
guest episode, my dude. Since the guest episode, the guest is providing the thing we check out this week. So I'm going to go ahead and hand over the hostly duties to the lovely lady over here. Give you
He
the
said
power.
Duties.
Right? Is that what I did say?
I have duties now?
Yeah.
Yeah. Mm.
Yeah. Yep.
I
all of
wasn't-
you got duties
There's
all
something-
over you.
Something I love about a lady. It's
Just-
a lady with duties.
Just duties. Just
Mm.
I mean, just covered in duties. Just smothered
Stop.
in duties.
Smothered in duties.
There's
is
a lot
very
of host
descriptive
duties.
I don't like-
word.
I don't like duty
Absolutely
jokes.
smothered.
This is bad. Y'all know that.
I do know that. But I have to hand over the power.
Yeah, I
right?
think
Is that
it's the
something
power.
that-
You
I
right
have
now
the
Noah
power.
has the power,
Yeah.
and he has to bestow the power onto you, and then you will have the power, and then you're in control. So
No,
we,
I
we
always
more or
have
less
the
have to
power.
do what you
It's,
say.
it's true you always have power, but maybe not specifically this power. So I have to give you the power
Is it magic?
real quick. Oh, yes, it's
Well-
magic, much like what we're talking about today. So I'm going to give you the power. Here we go. There you go.
That was
Oh, it-
the
it went
brightest
right
of lights.
Got the power
Through
now.
my forehead.
Yeah,
Mhm.
it's really it's a real like spectacle to behold the passing of power.
Of hosting.
I feel
power.
different now.
Do you? Explain. Could you go into like just a small detail of how the difference you feel?
Don't explain. I'm in charge now. It's
Oh.
my podcast.
Oh no, she's right. What have we done?
It's gone to her head.
You did put your hand
No.
on her face when you gave her the power.
I can't do this. I'm laughing.
Was it the duty joke?
No, not at all.
I think it was the duty.
It definitely was not.
Delayed reaction to the duty
Oh,
joke.
come on. That was a good joke. It's not as bad as my Hannah Montana joke I made that one time.
Oh, that ended the podcast. That ended that episode.
Right.
I had to
Well,
turn it
anyway,
off.
I didn't really have a specific order to talk about things in.
What
and
are we
so
talking about
I
this
thought,
week?
oh, did we not say
I
Star
think we
versus
said-
the Forces of Evil?
I don't think we've
We
said that
did
yet.
now.
Because that's what we're talking about.
Yeah.
I'm still kind of giggly. I'm sorry.
Gonna get a little weird, gonna get a little wild. I ain't from round here, I'm from another dimension. Gonna get a little weird, gonna have a good time. I ain't from round here, I'm from another. Yeah.
So it's a Disney XD show. We announced it at the end of last episode that we were talking about it.
Yeah.
And it's about a magical girl who gets sent to Earth to figure out how to be a princess and a queen and how to be responsible.
Yep. And for the record, I have finished all 3 seasons.
Yeah.
And I'm going to just let everyone assume that I did that in 2 weeks and was not notified ahead of time to start watching it earlier.
Real good at binging. Just champ of binging.
Dude, just face first.
I gave this to you like a while ago.
No, you didn't. You gave
or
it to
not
me
a while.
Jordan, it was
but,
2 weeks ago. Don't break the magic.
Jordan,
I said...
You're breaking kayfabe.
I don't know.
Breaking podcast kayfabe. What? Kayfabe?
Yeah, I don't know what that is.
It's a wrestling term.
Well, I said a while ago, but I mean 2 weeks
guess
is
I
a
don't know
while
what that
ago.
Yeah, exactly right. A while ago, as in 2 weeks ago. Mm-hmm. That's right. That's the first time I knew to watch that show.
I'm messing up this podcast.
You're doing great.
Okay.
Yeah, no. You have the power.
Yeah.
So,
I mean, it's your podcast. We're messing up your podcast.
The first thing I want to talk about, I guess, was the opening theme song.
It's a
to
very
which
good opening theme
season?
song.
I guess they're all the same.
They're both the
They're all
same
the
song.
It's just
the animation changes.
Yeah, yeah.
So I just want to know your thoughts on the very first thing you see when you start watching the show.
It's pretty rad.
I like the theme song a lot.
It's really good. Do you know who like sings / wrote / does that?
I don't know. I've never looked into that.
I didn't look into it, and I would love to see the creator's name for Star vs. the Force of Evil.
Oh, I don't know.
But I can't remember how to pronounce her name.
Okay.
I'm
Great.
really bad at pronunciation.
Cool.
I follow her on Twitter though, and everyone should. She's really cool.
Do you know her Twitter handle?
It's her name, so.
Nice. All right. Let's. We're gonna go to the web. Go to the
So-
worldwide.
Go ahead and continue looking at that.
Created by Darren Nefsey.
Nefsey, I
Spell
guess.
it out for us.
Daron. Darren. Nefcy.
'Cause
Nefsey.
All I ever remember is that her name starts with a D, and that's about it.
So I guess at Darren Nefsey. Follow her on
And
Twitter. Shout out. Woo.
yeah, she's really cool. She's the creator. She I think there's only been like 2 shows on Disney created by a woman.
Really?
Oh, wow.
So it's really cool that
Yeah, that's
she has
awesome.
this show.
Does Cartoon Network just have one? Is it Steven Universe? Is that the only one that's been... I know that's the first one, right? That was created by a woman.
For some reason, I want to say that Courage the Cowardly Dog was created by a woman.
Oh.
But I might be wrong.
Yeah, I don't know.
I might be completely wrong in making that up.
Well,
Well, I'd believe it.
so in the
'Cause you have the
intro,
power.
probably my favorite point in the intro with the animation and the song, I guess the song is really good,
Song is really
throughout.
good.
but the I think the line is "have a good time," and everyone like stops and does a little dance.
Yeah,
Probably
they were
my
like about to fight,
It's
and
always
then
the
they
best
just have a
part.
little dance party instead.
That's probably the best part in each.
But it
'cause they-
bugs me in the second opening that it doesn't line up anymore. Everyone's just kind of doing this little like up and down dance, but it's not like in time with the music like it was the first time.
I guess
that
you're
really
right.
bothers me too.
I guess I didn't pay that much attention when I was binging
It's kind of
all
blowing through
this.
it.
Yeah,
Yeah.
because a lot of times I would skip the intro because I mean,
You would have seen it like 10 times
That-
during
Did,
that day.
but you
if
did
were
notice
watching it.
when it changed.
oh yeah, definitely. I noticed when it changed. And so that was probably my favorite point. And I guess that would bother me if I had noticed that. So way to ruin it for me, guys.
Well,
I'll
you're
never be
welcome.
able to watch it again, except in the 4th season whenever it comes out. I'm sure it'll be a different intro.
It might be a different intro.
lot of
Because, I
stuff
mean,
has
it's 3
changed.
seasons, but only 2 different openings.
Yeah.
Yeah,
And 2 different closings.
which are very different.
Yes, the first closing is pretty chill. She's just, walking home from school with a bunch of
It's a very
little creatures.
silly, happy song.
Yeah.
Plays over it.
Which does match up with kind of the
vibe of the early.
the vibe of the season 1.
Yeah,
That it's kind of just
early part of the series.
yeah, kind of preteen, middle school, high school drama stuff.
Yeah, because Star's 14 when she goes there, so they're in high school.
Okay.
I
They're-
guess yeah, I guess
they're
that's like
freshmen,
freshman year in high
yeah.
school.
Like really young high school.
And
You're right.
and then the second opening is more of like
Like straight up magical girl anime, like Sailor Moon style.
yeah.
Like
Yeah.
she's a princess, something battle. Like,
That's the at the end.
Yeah, it's the ending of it's the second ending.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And she's like
'Cause-
standing majestically looking out into
yeah. Like
whatever.
just like straight up anime visuals and stuff.
Yeah.
Oh, I love
Because
it.
the tone of the whole series kind of changes once
Like after
the-
the end of the first season.
the like main villain, because we have a couple of villains throughout
Yeah,
the
let's
series.
go through some of the characters here.
We have, Star, the main character, the magical princess
Mhm.
girl, and her best friend Margot.
Star Butterfly
Yes.
of the Muni butterflies.
Yes, she's from a dimension called Muni,
Mm-hmm.
and,
And the people there are called Mumins.
That's probably my favorite thing. No, they're just humans.
and let's see, her best friend Marco, who she meets on Earth when she, her parents transfer her to an Earth school, and like their logic is for her to like learn responsibility and like go to another dimension and stuff, because if she didn't do that, she had to go to St. O's or St. Olga's,
Yeah.
and
Which is like
a reformatory school for wayward princesses.
which is more of like prison hell.
yeah.
For children.
That's kind of every time they talk about it, it's like, oh, look, it's like prison and also not like demon hell, but shadow, evil, lightning, never sunshine,
Yes.
princess hell.
So she definitely doesn't want to go there. She's very afraid of going there. She's very afraid of the head mistress.
Well, she witnesses some of her friends going there too, like her best friend from uni, Ponyhead,
Yes.
Princess Ponyhead.
She's technically from like the Ponyhead Kingdom, but I think they all technically live in Muni.
They all hang out
like
in
So, yeah,
that
that's-
dimension.
That dimension, yeah.
So yeah, I guess I never really thought about that. Is pony heads and
By the way, Ponyhead is literally a
Floating pony
like
head.
like a
Unicorn.
disembodied floating head of a unicorn.
yeah, she's all right.
She's pretty good.
She's a party girl. She
She
likes
is
to party.
girl.
Which is why she ends up at St. O's, because she parties too hard. And she gets sent away by her father, a giant floating pony head with like a beard or goatee.
Yeah. I also like one of my favorite things about Ponyhead is since she doesn't have arms or pockets or anything, she just uses her tongue for everything.
Oh yeah, so she'll just like to provide whatever item is necessary for
She's
that
just like-
scene. She'll just
And it just kind of comes out of her mouth, kind of like Naruto style of, oh, I need this scroll. Just pull it out of their mouth. So it does that
I
with-
don't remember people pulling scrolls out of their mouth in Naruto,
I'm
but
sure it happened.
Oh,
I'm sure it happened. Yeah.
it's especially with, what's his name? Orochimaru dude.
Oh yeah.
And the frog guy that trains Naruto, whatever. They do it all the time, just spit stuff out of their mouth.
I mean, I believe.
Yeah.
Time to give it up, Cupcake.
Is that King Ponyhead? Oh, hello, Daddy.
Hello, Princess.
What is he doing here? Oh, B-Fly, it's the end of the line for me. But at least I got in one nice night of fun with you, girl.
So yeah, so then Marco, the human, in like the first episode or so, she finds out that he knows karate. He's like what, a red belt? No,
he is
he's
a
a green belt.
Yeah.
And he knows karate, and her wand is the focus of one villain, Ludo. He's like a teeny tiny green bird man.
Yeah, and he's like the villain that kind of starts out the series. He's like the reoccurring guy that'll show up every couple episodes.
He's the Ice King of Adventure Time.
Yes.
He's
yeah,
like
that's a good
kind of
analogy.
a goofy main villain who's not like serious. It's more of a like fun time villain.
Yeah, and I mean, it's more or less to give the show some action outside of the
drama.
drama of, oh, this person doesn't like me, or oh, I have a crush on this person, or oh, I'm Star Butterfly and I don't understand human culture. Like, what is a prom? What is a homecoming or whatever? And so besides, there's that whole thing going on, and then there's the, oh yeah, this tiny Birdman and his monsters come out and now we have to fight.
Yeah. So he'll he has his main minion, Buff Frog.
Buff Frog's the best.
He's pretty
He's
rad.
a buff
I
frog
love
man.
Buff Frog.
Literally, yeah.
His name
And
is Buff Frog.
And what accent would you say he has?
Like a Russian.
Yeah, is it Russian? I want to say
Yeah.
Russian, but that might be racist.
I feel like it's pretty they're going for a pretty Russian accent.
Well, because he's
if
supposed to be
anything
like a
else.
spy, and so stereotypical
Yeah,
spy
yeah.
would be like a Russian.
spy.
So that's kind of like the accent he has. And so he's the spy. He goes, sneaks around, finds out what she's doing, and then they'll try and make a plot around that to go steal her wand, because her wand, like, the queen passes on a magical wand to their daughter when they turn 14. And so she has it now, and she's supposed to start training her magic. And so that's why she's on Earth. And Marco, she's living with his family now as like a foreign exchange student.
Which apparently they do just constantly.
Yeah, his
Apparently.
family's used to foreign exchange students, so it's not a problem. And Marco knows karate, so he protects Star from these monsters that want her wand. But she can also fight. So
Yeah.
she has all these like fighting spells. Like the Warnicorn spell. They're stampeding unicorns for war. They're like all buff and they're gray and black and look menacing.
Yeah, we get to spend like an episode or two with them inside of her wand, and they're like gym bros.
Yeah.
They're like super buff unicorns that like work out all the time and like chug protein powder, and they're like big like.
Yeah, it's really interesting.
They're
The
pretty cool.
episodes with what happens inside the wand. They're
With
all the
spells
spells
that hang
are
out.
like co-workers.
Because it's like the Warnicorns and Narwhals for the Narwhal Blast, and
Yeah, the
Spider
narwhal
with
blast.
the top hat.
Just shooting a bunch of narwhals at someone.
Yeah.
And
Spider with the top hat.
yeah, one of my
He's pretty
favorites,
rad.
Spider with a top hat. He's sort of like the host or like main kind of person in the wand who like directs everyone, tells everyone when it's their time to like go out of the wand and be a spell. So there's the wand characters, but they're very minor. They have their own episodes though. And so there's Ludo, the little bird man, as a villain, and then there's the first main baddie, Toffee, who Ludo kind of employs to try to like kick his henchmen into shape. And it doesn't go the way Ludo plans.
Yeah, no.
Yeah, I will say though, I think how Star versus the Force of Evil kind of as their plot and as show develops, I think Toffee is a super interesting character because it's so obvious and apparent that Ludo is totally incapable
Oh, yeah.
of doing anything.
He's super duper goofy, and then once Toffee makes the scene,
And
it's just like,
Toffee is-
oh, like things are getting serious.
Yeah,
now.
and Toffee is a way cooler and way more put together bad guy. He's got always wearing a suit.
Yeah, he's a anthropomorphic lizard man in a nice suit.
Yeah, he kind of like a 80s corporate bad guy kind of look to him.
Yeah, and so
Slick back hair.
when he shows up, it kind of very obviously implies that, hey, there's more going on in this show on like the fantasy monster side than just, oh, they're the fun villains that we get to shoot narwhals at the end of each episode. And so it kind of, even at the very beginning, the first like 3 or 4 episodes he's in, he doesn't really do a lot.
Yeah, he's just kind of commenting on what Ludo's doing and like what he could be doing better. Kind of like doing what Ludo expected him to do,
Mhm.
like what he hired him for. And so kind of as that's going on, Buff Frog doesn't trust him at all.
Yeah.
And Star, so the show kind of hits beats where it's like the very beginning is her just doing school adventures with Marco, with Ludo and his posse trying to get the wand. And then as the show goes on, Marco had friends. And those friends disappeared. They don't exist. Like, they're just not in the show anymore because they
Yeah.
didn't need them anymore.
I guess that's true because
Yeah,
they were
the story kind of outgrew those characters.
Yeah, because they were there for a bit, and then about I think halfway through the first season, or maybe a little bit more, they just don't. They're not there anymore. And I do think it's funny. Eventually, I think at the very end, they're like, "Oh yeah, and you guys, I don't know where you went, but you're still here."
Yeah.
I do miss their teacher that turned into an ogre lady.
Oh, she was pretty.
Yeah,
cool.
I didn't. I forgot to write down her name. It's like Miss Skolnick, I'm pretty
I think
sure.
so.
And yeah, she got turned into a troll, And, you know, she was pretty bummed out about it. And there's an episode where they're like on a field trip in another dimension because that's what Star wanted to do. And she thought their field trip was boring. So she's like, let's go on a different one. And she finds like all this lore on trolls and finds out like, oh, I'm not middle-aged anymore because now I'm a troll. Technically, like, I'm a really young person. I'm like in my
Like
20s
a
again,
hot
essentially.
20-something, yeah.
Yeah. So she's like, nah, I'm rad now. It's fine. I don't care that I'm like an ugly troll because then I can just, you know, find another troll man.
Turning this around.
Yeah, she's like kind of pumped about it at that moment. And then, you know, that's while they're still doing school stuff. And then, as like stuff goes on, it kind of like gets more into the lore of Muni, and kind of like
Yeah, like a lot.
they'll start like
Their main
they-
commodity is corn.
yeah, their main commodity is corn.
I do.
All
like
they
the
eat is
corn.
corn.
Most of their dishes are corn based.
I do, yeah. One of my favorite jokes that they did was, all right, what kind of corn do we want? Corn bread, corn this, corn meal? It's an entire meal of corn. And even though that's not what corn meal is,
Yeah.
that's probably my favorite, one of my favorite corn joke, for sure. But one of my favorite jokes in all of Star Wars Force Eagle. It's pretty good.
Yeah, so at a point they get interdimensional scissors, which is how everyone travels that isn't from Earth, essentially.
Through all the different dimensions. Like basically
yeah.
like cuts open a wormhole
Yeah, it's
in
just a piece scissors that open up a portal wherever you cut through time and you can travel through them.
Yeah.
So-
Even in the same dimension, you can like, I guess if you wanted to, because there's times where Marco's like cuts one to reach a remote that's just out of reach.
yeah.
Oh yeah. When Marco opens up too many portals because he's super lazy.
Mm-hmm. That would be me. Let's be real.
So they start traveling around and leaving Earth and stuff, and so that's when like the Earth, like school stuff, kind of gets pushed to the side, and we get more of the like lore of Muni, like Munipendence Day. That episode, Star just starts realizing like, wow, like humans are really terrible people to monsters, and like the monsters are like defenseless, and we have like so much more power than they do. And she kind of starts to see that. And as the show goes on, by like the end of the third season, she's like very pro monster and trying to get monsters integrated into Muni.
Yeah, it definitely starts to do like a X-Men like monsters as an allegory for racial issues or like sexual orientation issues and stuff like that.
Yeah, for
Like
sure.
minorities, basically.
Yeah, I think it's really interesting that a kid show like this, and I guess kids is in preteens, because what the target audience is would probably be about 14-year-olds.
Yeah. Well, like,
a little
I would
younger?
say like 10 to 15.
yeah.
Okay, so
Tweens to teens.
that target audience, they're willing to spend whole episodes and sometimes whole arcs about this kind of racial parallel.
Yeah, because there's even an episode in the third season where Star is trying to be diplomatic and get the humans and monsters to like party together. They're all the teenage monsters and humans. And it's working out at first, but then it kind of all falls apart when the Magical High Commission, or kind of like the policeman of Muni, comes and crashes the party and starts like arresting people because of where they're partying at. And they're not arresting any of the humans, they're arresting all the monsters. And Star's like, what are you doing? They didn't do anything. And all the monsters are like, this happens all the time. And you can really feel the like racial tension. Kind of.
So that's I think that them showing those types of like serious allegations and things, parallels that happen in the real world, is a very kind of bold statement for a cartoon show. They didn't have to do that, but
they're not
just
shying away from stuff that like kids should probably know.
Yeah. So I think that was like super cool that they're doing that, and they do a really good job of showing. There's one of the episodes where Star and her mom are on the run. We're kind of jumping around all the seasons, but
yeah,
that they're playing like a board game, and it's a monster board game talking about how the humans are terrible and are like killing the monsters and eating their children. And then the queen is like, what are you talking about? We have a board game where the monsters are coming and we have to protect ourselves from the evil monsters, not the other way around. And showing kind of even at a fundamental level in like marketing and just how society is, how blinded each side can be from each other. And so it's Star kind of seeing that, and as the audience seeing that, kind of learning that lesson of, oh, I have these thoughts and ideas of that type of race or that type of person or whatever. I see that stereotype and I immediately have thoughts about it, but are those my own and are those in reality, or is that just from what I was taught growing up? And that allegory right there I thought was very, very powerful, how simply they put that out for everybody to see and how obvious they made it.
Yeah.
So that was probably one of my favorite moments looking at it as an adult. Watching this show, I saw that and I was like, wow, that is very powerful and has a lot to say about really important things in this fun magical girl TV show.
Yeah, and that's like not even the only episode about that. That's like a pretty big deal for like the first half of the third season.
Well, yeah, because she had the main Independence Day episode is like in season 1 when she starts questioning the way monsters are treated. And then, so going back to like her on Earth, and then, so Toffee, the villain, he kidnaps Marco, and like at the end of season 1. And he kicked Ludo out of his castle and took control of his monster army. Because he's just like, I'm a better leader than you. So he kicks Ludo out, steals Marco, and then Star has to go over there. And she's just like, you want my wand in exchange for Marco? Here. And he's like, no, I don't want your wand. I want you to destroy it. So she's just like, I don't know how. And he said it was the first spell her mom taught her. So she whispers this little spell into her wand, and a little unicorn soul comes out of it. And like it died. And then she runs away because Marco is like trapped in this kind of invisible wall thing, or kind of glass wall. And she ducks under it with him, and the wand explodes. And it destroys the castle. Toffee's destroyed along with it.
Mm-hmm.
And she actually gets the wand back, and a new unicorn just kind of shows up, and he's like, it's my time. And then he like goes into the wand, and the wand's just back to normal because there's a new unicorn to power it. But the wand is broken. It had a star piece in it, and it's only half of it's there. So, but it still like works. So in the second season, they're back on Earth doing school stuff, but at the same time, they're doing a lot of kind of jumping around with things. And like a big problem is that her wand and magic in general is kind of like
A little wonky.
askew.
Yeah.
So it turns out Toffee didn't die.
Yeah.
And so Toffee's kind of the main thing, like at the end of season 2, beginning of season 3.
Yeah. Like it's like the threat that comes back. But that's also like toward the end of season 1, that's around the time she gets one of my favorite characters, Glossarig, right?
Glossaric?
Glossaric.
Glossaric, yeah. Glossaric's awesome.
Yeah, he, at first I really didn't like him as a character because he shows up a few times and he's really obnoxious.
Oh yeah.
And
He's like her mentor. She has a book of spells that she has to learn from, and he's like attached to it.
yeah, and he has to follow whoever has the book. And he's pretty obnoxious and not super fun to listen to, and he's very not helpful to any of the characters. But the longer he's there, the more his like kind of sarcasm and his disruptiveness really starts to grow on me. And by the end of it, he's pretty fun.
Yeah, and he's
especially in
supposed to be the most powerful person just in general.
Yeah,
Right,
the most
yeah.
powerful wizard or anybody.
Magic user.
Yeah.
And it's great in the third season when like the spell book gets altered and all he's like starts like acting really weird, kind of like a
A dog.
yeah,
or
like a
feral
dog
animal.
or a feral animal, and all
Well,
he says is
the
Globgor.
book was destroyed.
Globgor. Oh, that's right.
The book was destroyed, and he was kind of destroyed along with it, but Star kind of like found him in
Yeah.
like magic juice.
He's just kind of like set back to his factory settings, basically.
Well, that's what you think.
That's what you think, yeah, until the very end of the season where it's revealed what he was actually saying the entire time. And I guess he was just being a jerk.
Yeah, I don't
Well,
know.
because the whole thing is that he's very.
Oopsie.
My notes fell. The whole thing is that he's very riddly with Star, but like he acts different with each.
Possessor of the book.
Yeah, like he teaches them differently. Like apparently he was very straightforward with her mom,
Yeah.
but he's very riddly with Star and won't just like tell her what she needs to do. He'll just kind of like hint at whatever she needs to do.
Not saying something, cause I've been through outer space. I think it suits me, it's just my style. I think I'm gonna stay a little while. I think that strangers are just friends you haven't met. I'm blasting monsters and I never break a sweat. I'm really thinking I could call this place home.
And one of my favorite parts from when they defeat Toffee, because he ends up like tainting all of the magic and she can't use magic, and like all he's trying to do is get his finger back essentially, because Star's mom, her full title is Moon the Undaunted.
Sweet.
The thing about lizard people are they're supposed to be essentially immortal, because if you just like cut off their hand, it'll just grow back. And the monster army was coming and take over Muni, and her mom, as a young 14-year-old, learned a spell from Eclipsa, another past queen.
She's a really cool character.
She's a cool
Eclipsa.
character because everyone thinks she's evil, but like when you meet her character, it's like she acts just like Star. She's like goofy and cool.
Yeah, she doesn't seem malicious.
Yeah, and she's just another misunderstood character. But she teaches Moon as a child like this spell
Yeah, because she
that's
uses,
supposed to kill immortal beings, and she
uses dark magic.
Yeah.
she uses dark magic, and she teaches her the spell and makes a deal with her saying like, if I'm teaching you this to kill an immortal monster, and you have to come free me from my prison after that.
Yeah, she's stuck in a giant crystal that I also really like. I don't know what his name is. The giant crystal head guy with
I can't
snakes for
remember.
hands.
Oh, it's not Prismo. That's
No.
Adventure Time.
Whatever that guy is, he's rad.
Yeah.
Yeah, he
He's-
ripped off one of his nipple jewels and gave it to Star as a token of friendship.
Yeah, so he is super silly, and he's always yelling.
All the
Just
time.
all the
Just
time.
always yelling.
And so in that episode, she's like, okay, I'll make it like uncrystallize her so I
Mhm.
can get a spell from her. And then when he recrystallizes her, he's like, all right, cool. So now we blow her up, right? And she's like, no. Like, what are you doing? He's like, oh, well, I just thought
that's what we usually do.
blow her up. That's fine, whatever. So he's
Yeah, he
rad.
kind of overreacts to things.
I like him a
Yeah.
lot.
And so Moon blew off Toffee's finger when they fought so he wouldn't die, so that Eclipsa wouldn't be freed. But when they finally defeat Toffee, they think Star is dead. And Toffee gets his finger back. And this is the best part. So this is the beginning of season 3. And so they think Star had died, like Toffee had gotten them, because Toffee possesses Ludo.
Mm-hmm.
And Star realizes that, and the other half of her wand ended up in a different, like, kind of skeleton wand thing that Ludo had found, and then it grew into his hand, and then he had this weird, gross Toffee hand. And she whispers that spell that destroys the wand into his hand, and both her and Ludo kind of get blown up. And then Ludo survives because he's attached to Toffee, and it's so gross. His body, like, contorts around Ludo as he's being revived, and then he throws up Ludo. It's so gross.
Yeah.
And so they
Not
think Star had just
good.
died in the explosion, and she had somehow ended up in the wand like he did, Toffee, when the first wand blew up. And she thought she was just stuck there.
Yeah.
And she found Glossaric. She thought Glossaric had died, but he was also in there.
So when the wand blows up, it kind of like puts whoever exploded kind of into like either
It's-
part of the wand or
seemed
kind
that
of
way.
like into magic itself. Because that was a big thing, was Toffee was like messing with like the source of magic.
Yeah.
And so it was making it all black and icky. And then when Star overcomes Toffee, then she kind of resets magic to like this big gold, like glowy stuff, which I took to be like her essence is now the essence of magic instead of Toffee's essence.
Right. Yeah.
So
she
magic's
had to
all-
do the deep down
Yeah.
to do magic without a wand. And that's the big thing in that the beginning of season 3 is she learns how to do wandless magic. Or she didn't learn how, but she
Kind of unlocked the power.
unlocked it, because her mom can turn into this big butterfly form and have like super powerful magic. And when she's up against Toffee, she gets her butterfly form and is able to completely defeat him. And because he died, it unlocked Eclipsa. So that's all of season 3 is like Eclipsa, the past queen. She's is she like just Eclipsa the evil, or it was
Something like that.
because they all have titles, and it's been revealed that Star's title is supposed to be Star the Underestimated.
Okay.
Her mom is Moon the Undaunted, and then I don't remember what Eclipsa's full title is. But a big thing with Eclipsa is that she was queen, and as she was reigning queen, she ran off with a monster love, and had a kid with a monster.
Yeah.
And so that's another reason why everyone thinks she's evil.
Yeah. And so again, kind of going back to the whole like racial thing, it's like they put it front and center about like their stories and that kind of stuff. So like kind of like, you know, a mixed race child
Yeah.
technically being princess, and then she's not, and then she ends up
And then
being
the kingdom denies them that, like, no, we have to like erase this from our history, and
Yeah. It's pretty intense.
One thing I did want to talk about is during the Toffee kind of storyline, Star has to like be formally presented as like the next heir, and she has to have her princess song, and there's she doesn't want a fluff piece, and the new minstrel there, he doesn't want to do like a little puff piece either, and like she's really resisting working with him, but doesn't ever ask what he wanted to do. So neither of them want puff pieces, but she never said that to him, and he never got to respond to that. And the minstrel's name is Robariot, who is voiced by Patrick Stump of Fall Out Boy.
Yeah.
And I
The one
love
and
it.
only.
Yeah, and anytime Robariot comes back, which is like in 2 other episodes, he's
Yeah,
still
'cause
voiced by
He gets
Patrick.
married.
Yeah.
for one
Yeah.
episode.
Yeah, Robariot's awesome. And that song's awesome. That we've been listening to that pretty often.
Yeah,
lately.
anytime you think of it, you'll put it on.
Yeah. It's just always somewhere in like at least the last 10 videos in my history on YouTube at this point.
It's pretty good. I'm gonna let the cat out of the room.
Okay.
I'll let the cat out of the bag.
One of the things that happened during that song, though, is Star didn't want a puff piece. She wanted to be honest. So she let Robariot tell all of Muni that she lost her book of spells and glossaric to Ludo because he stole it. Because
Yeah.
since he had his weird hand wand, he realized that there was a book that told him how to use spells. And so he stole the book. So Robariot gets done singing, and he sung about how cool Star was, and then he sung about how Ludo stole the book, and then he sings about how Star's in love with Marco, which is never outright said. You just kind of assume that Star eventually has a crush on Marco, and she's like super embarrassed because she didn't know that was in the song. So at the end of all this, the Mumins are like rioting because they were like, why didn't like the king and queen tell us like that this like all this went down, like what had happened? And even the High Commission didn't know, the like police of
Yeah.
magic and Muni.
Which the diamond head snake arm guy is on there. And one of my other favorite characters, Hekapoo, who's totally cool.
Yeah, she's a fire lady.
Yeah. She's got dimensional scissors. And I also just really like her because she's a character that has a, like an unconventional body type for, stuff that's usually marketed like this show is.
Mhm.
She's got more of a curvy body type, and I appreciate that.
Yeah. I also like one of my favorite things, and I wish they did more with it. They've done a little bit with it, but I wish they did more. Was Marco eventually gets his own dimensional scissors, and how he does that is he has to go fight or touch, I think, or no, blow out the fire of like 50 or
Hekapoo.
30 hekapoos because
Well,
she can multiply herself.
Yeah, she multiplied herself, and
Basically clone jutsu from Naruto.
Yeah.
he had to
Bring up
figure out
Naruto
the
again.
real one and blow out the real one's fire.
Yeah, so he spends 16 years or something like that. I don't know exactly the number, but 16 years chasing her down and ends up being like in his 30 or 28. He's got this like jacked body and he rides a
Dragon,
dragon
motorcycle.
cycle.
Yeah.
and then they go out of her dimension and he goes back to being 14. And so that's a kind of a cool dynamic of, oh yeah, I have 16 years of training, but I'm in a 14-year-old body, and now I have dimensional scissors and I have a rad dragon cycle called Nachos.
A lot of character development.
Yeah, I thought that was super cool. I wish they did more with him being technically that much older than everybody, but it's fine.
You
Yeah,
still gotta have to have relatable high school problems.
Yeah.
there was an episode where Marco's parents were in there was where he was trying to do like a quiz for Marco. And like Star's filling it out for them because they realize Star at this point knows more about Marco than they do.
Mm-hmm.
And I think she filled out his age, and she's like, "Yeah, y'all need to talk," like, because he was only gone for like a few seconds for that 16 years.
Yeah.
She's gonna earn her crown, so hail to the queen. She's a rebel princess, she's the best. She's a ball of lightning in a hot pink dress. She's a thunderstorm going through the night. She's a shooting star and she's lighting up the sky.
In one of the concerts that they go to, so there's the one with Robariot, which is for her, and then there's the other concert that Star, Marco, and Jackie go to. And Jackie is Marco's initial crush for the show. He has a crush on for
She's
like
the one with like the. Oh wait, yeah, the.
She's the rad
Jackie.
skateboarder
Yeah,
girl.
yeah.
Yeah, so she is his crush for like all of season 1 and 2.
Ish.
No, it's even into season 3 they're still dating. Well,
Oh,
like
really?
once they get together
It's all a
because
blur.
because defeating Toffee is the first 4 episodes of season 3.
Gotcha.
And so after that he goes home and he's still dating Jackie at the beginning of season 3, and she
That's right,
realizes like he can't stop talking about Muni, and Marco is told to like just go live in Muni for a while. So now he's kind of like an exchange student.
Yeah.
So yeah, most of season 3 doesn't even take place on Earth anymore. It takes place on Muni and has bigger problems than just high school.
But
Yeah.
there's like other cool characters you get to meet there too, like Nikki, I think is her name, the blue-haired girl. Is that her name?
Jana,
Jana?
the
Is that
witch
it?
girl.
The girl with like the big blue hair and her
Yeah, who has her boyfriend
ex-boyfriend who's
also
also
on
in
her
her.
hair.
Okay. I thought you were thinking of one of the Earth people.
Yeah.
Oh no.
I will
Jana,
s-
the girl that like is into the occult.
Oh yeah, she's cool.
I will say I do kind of miss, after going through season 3, I kind of miss all of the Earth characters that we spent so much time with in the
Yeah.
first
Yeah,
2
I love
seasons.
Marco's parents.
Yeah, Marco's parents
Marco's
are really
parents are
cool.
awesome.
All of those, like Jackie and I guess whatever her name
Jana.
was. Jana was really rad.
Yeah.
And so I
That
kind of
the
Sensei.
Oh, and
Sensei-
Star
Sensei's awesome.
Fan, was it Starfan 66
oh yeah
or something?
Yeah.
I can't remember the numbers after her name. Starfan 13 maybe.
Something
I don't
like
know.
that.
But she's also voiced by Star's voice actress.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
That's pretty funny.
Yeah, so that's her name, Starfan whatever, and she's obsessed with Star and magic and stuff. And they're all friends. But there was one episode where they're playing like, was it Truth or Die or something?
Something like that. Yeah, like with the weird cube thing.
The cat.
Going crazy.
And
She'll do that if you're standing.
they
right
have
next
to
her.
tell the truth in that one episode or the box like kills them. And they're playing as like a sleepover game. And someone didn't tell the truth at one point, and then like Star like breaks the box because the box had like asked her what her favorite color was at one point, and I think she said like blue, and then like she had like given an answer that the box didn't like, and so it was gonna kill everyone. She's like, Well, I mean, the truth changes sometimes. I mean, ask me my favorite color again. And the box asks, what's your favorite color? And she said, well, I don't know. Maybe now it's yellow. And so the box lit up like, oh, you're telling the truth. But like you had said something else earlier, but that was the truth. And so they kind of like freaked the box out. And that's kind of how they defeated it. Star was just saying like, I don't know what's true. That could be true. Or that could be true. Or all of it's true. Who knows? Like, the truth is kind of gray sometimes, and so they like kind of defeat the box that way.
Yeah, it's pretty cool.
Yeah, it was a fun episode.
But why I brought up Jackie is the concert they were at, where everyone starts kissing, and Star like gets sad because she started having a crush on Marco at that point. And she looks around, and you see in the crowd several like characters kissing, and you know there's gay and lesbian characters kissing like just right on screen. Like it's not even like in the background. It's like front and center.
Yeah.
I thought that was pretty bold of Disney.
Yeah, I do think it's really cool how like Steven Universe and Disney and cartoons are kind of taking that forefront and saying what is acceptable and what's okay, and teaching that to children. Because I mean, these shows are directed at kids.
Yeah.
I mean, we watch them and enjoy them as well, and as do many other people of all ages. But their target audience is kids. And so, especially in our generation, kids are being more or less raised by television. I mean, not in a bad way, but they just watch a lot of TV. So having these kind of values instilled upon them from TV, I think is a very noble thing that cartoons are taking upon themselves to do. Because they could just be safe and fun, which some are, and they're great. But they also can kind of stand for things and put things there on that is very deliberate and on purpose. So I think Star is doing that, which is very, very awesome.
Some, older people think it's just like the liberal media, but like it's mostly, creative types are the ones making these cartoons, and creative types are more open, and a lot of the times are like gay or LGBTQ of some sort. And they want their stories told, so they share their stories, and a lot of kids need to hear those stories if they're not going to hear them from like their parents.
Totally.
Yeah. Star versus the forces of evil. Getting the good news out there.
The news of acceptance.
News of acceptance.
Okay, I was about to say, are they spreading the gospel?
Getting the message of the next generation.
Okay, yeah.
Out there.
You just said good news, and I was like,
I didn't want to say the good one. Like that's not right.
That's not right.
But yeah, getting.
I mean, they go hand in hand, right? Like loving people and acceptance and the gospel.
That's
it's all
pretty
good,
much
but
all
not
Star is acceptance of races, and acceptance of everybody for who they are.
Yeah.
And that's what makes the show really, really great. And also the art style. The art style is really, really
art style is very cute. Yeah.
All right. So happy.
Well, I think that's about it, right? So I guess we're anything else you wanted to say, Kevin?
Yes.
All right.
Butt cheeks. That's what I wanted to say. Thank you.
Not on my podcast.
Golf
Oh, I'm so sorry. What have I done? No.
But I don't know. I feel like I'm a little all over the place, but I tried my best.
Hey,
yeah.
It was awesome.
You did great.
Yeah, and I mean, we're trying to cover 3 whole seasons. That it was like hours and hours and hours of content. There's so much characters we didn't even touch and things we didn't even talk about that's super great in Star.
Yeah, because it's a really interesting show since most cartoons go with their 15-minute episodes. Like if a cartoon nowadays, if you see a commercial for it, it says new episode on Friday or whatever, it's going to be a 15-minute episode. But Star has the full like 30-minute episodes that like you used to have in like the 90s, early 2000s.
Yeah. So it's rad.
Well, you gotta think it might be time for ratings.
Ratings.
So what's the rating here?
You got
Jordan?
a scale for us?
Yeah.
Is it
on a scale from 1 to
scale 1 to magical girl?
Okay.
All right.
I don't know very many magical girls, so I'm gonna take you. So no, come here. I wanna talk for a little bit. I'm gonna use Sailor Moon, and you're gonna have to use something else because I don't know any other magical
You're
girls.
Sailor Moon. Okay.
Yeah, I'm gonna be Sailor Moon.
All right,
Something else. All right. One magical girl. Cool. I'm gonna go with Sailor Moon then.
All right.
And
A
Noah.
classic.
It is. It's good. I actually haven't watched much or any of Sailor Moon.
Pretty good.
Same.
Cool.
I was a Dragon Ball
maybe-
Z girl growing
Yeah,
up.
I was also a Dragon Ball Z girl growing up.
Mm-hmm.
So, Noah, do you have what you're gonna rate it at then?
I would maybe give it a Cardcaptor Sakura.
Okay, that's the only other one that I know of.
It's a very good one. I like both those very much. But
You could have
Have
also
you
said Kill a
watched-
Kill.
Oh, okay, I have watched Kill la Kill.
Sure. Yeah.
I don't
A little
know.
more violent, but
Yeah.
sure.
Yeah.
Have you
I
watched
mean, pretty magical girl.
all of Sailor Moon? Noah, this is what I'm talking to. People can't see who I'm making eye contact with. But Noah, have you watched all of Sailor Moon
I don't know
and
if I've
all of
watched
Card Fight?
all of I watched them when I was very little, and I
Okay.
haven't like returned to them a ton since
Mhm.
then. I actually have been meaning to watch all of Sailor Moon again
Gotcha.
pretty soon.
You know what? I might want to change my answer. I might want to change to Powerpuff Girls.
That's pretty good.
'Cause
Yeah.
that's like
That's
the
sort of like a magical girl.
yeah,
I
kind of
mean,
like the
they're
girl show,
superheroes.
whatever I watched when I was
Yeah.
growing up.
Like show that has a girl protagonist that is for like all audiences.
Yeah.
Yeah. I like that.
So yeah, I'll go with
Not
Powerpuff
bad.
Girls instead.
Okay.
Sweet.
Yay.
Yay, that's the rating. Everybody. So we've reached the end of the show. So I'm sorry, Jordan, but I'm gonna have to take the power back.
I can't be plugged.
Oh, yeah,
Well, yeah,
you-
sure. Yeah, give us some plugs.
Follow me at Fangurley on any social media you use because I'm everywhere.
Yeah.
Instagram, Twitter.
Patreon.
Yeah, go check out my Patreon and throw money at me.
Yeah.
Though since I've gotten a job recently, it's been a pretty slow upload, so maybe don't do that. But you can
maybe
still follow me
anyways.
on Patreon. You don't have to give me money.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Check it out.
You can also just see in the
Dudes.
description below
Yeah, we always link your stuff.
every episode we link to her Patreon.
Yeah.
And do you want us to
So
link
it's
to
right
anything
there.
else down in that description? Your Twitter,
People
your
don't
Facebook
really
page,
follow
your
on
Instagram, your Snapchat.
Patreon. I don't have a Snapchat. Snapchat's dumb.
Shots
Making
fired.
really hard stance against Snapchat right now.
Wow, the hardest of
So-
stances.
So
Rock
I
hard
guess
stance.
the best places to follow me at are Twitter and Instagram. Instagram, if you don't want to see my random non-art posts on Twitter. But I do take polls on Twitter of like what y'all want me to draw and stuff. So if you want to be included in that, follow me on Twitter.
Yeah.
Cool.
Check it out, dudes. All right, I'm gonna take power back now.
Yeah.
So here I go. All right,
Are you
Here
sucking
you
it
go.
back?
I'm gonna.
There's
I'm
only
gonna-
one way
I'm
to
gonna
do it, Jordan.
Kirby style. So here I
It's
go.
the only way. Noah, I did not know your mouth could get so big.
I know.
It was
huge.
like most of your body.
That was very uncomfortable.
You got so close to her. It was like really close.
And I gobbled all up.
Gobbled it
and,
all up.
I did little stars flew out of me for a second,
Mm-hmm.
and here I am. I got the power back.
Yep, you got it back. How's it
Everybody.
feel?
Pretty good.
A-okay?
I'm pink and round.
The break of dawn. Don't worry when it's night, 'cause she will keep the lights on. Oh, there goes a shining star. It won't deter her, 'cause magic flows through her. She's a shining.
Yeah. So, that's the end of Star Versus stuff, and now it's time for, I guess, me to give you something,
Yes, it is.
Kevin, for the next episode with just us two.
Yes, please.
I wanted to go back to music.
Rad.
Yeah, because we done like what we did Logic, and then we had like a movie, we had a game, and then
Comics.
we had a show.
And we had New Avengers in there somewhere.
I think that was before Logic.
Okay, I think you're right.
Yeah, but I've really been digging this particular band lately, so I want
Let
to
me
go
guess.
ahead and do music. What's
Let
your
me
guess?
guess. Is it the North Flight Orchestra? The
It
band
is-
I showed you.
It is not,
Darn,
but
well, they're pretty rad.
it was a very good band. And I think, have we plugged them before?
I don't think so.
Pretty good.
Pat
Pretty
likes
great
them. Pat showed them
80s
to me.
style
It's Pat,
band.
baby.
Hey, Pat. I love you, Pat. Love you, baby. But the band I want to recommend to you is a band that I've most recently fallen like all the way in love with.
All the way.
All the way in love. They're honestly probably my favorite band of the moment.
Wow.
Of right now. They are the Australian psych rock band King Gizzard and the Lizard Wizard.
Okay, so I heard about these guys on Wait, Don't Tell Me.
Okay, yeah.
They were like they had they.
I heard they've guest starred on some comedy podcasts.
Yeah,
like
well,
that,
no.
yeah.
So Wait, Don't Tell Me is a like a news quiz show, and one of their questions is they were asking someone they had someone who was really important, like some like musician on, and like, hey, we're gonna ask you 3 questions about something you have no idea about, and it was about that band.
Okay.
So I have heard of them before, but I have not heard their music before.
Okay, sweet. Yeah, they've just recently been blowing stuff up in the music world. Well, I mean, you know, they've been blowing up in popularity. Yes. Kevin was giving me a really weird look. But just some quick little facts about them, and then we'll, you know, in the episode. But they are an Australian psych rock band.
Cool.
So psychedelic rock, kind of like that. They have 2 drummers.
Rad.
Mm-hmm. And they, since the beginning of when they started releasing albums professionally, like in 2012, since then to now, they've released like 13 albums.
What?
5 albums in 2017 alone. Yeah. They pump out music like crazy. And all their albums are crazy different. Like it's all like generally psych rock, but each of their albums has like specific musical ideas, and they just kind of experiment with a bunch of stuff. It's a crazy
So with
time with
5
that band.
albums a year, is their music any good?
Oh yeah, no, it's great. Well, it's not 5 albums a year. Like
5 albums since 2017.
In 2017 alone,
Yeah.
they released 5 albums in 1 year.
And it was all quality.
It was all quality. So those some of my favorite albums were in that
Well,
year.
that is unbelievably impressive.
It's really crazy. So yeah, for next episode, because they have such a large music library, I'm gonna recommend some that you listen to.
Okay.
But there's one album in particular I want us to that we'll end up probably talking about the most next episode.
Okay.
So I recommend that you start. And I think this is what most people say the best place to start with King Gizzard and the Lizard Wizard is their bit of a mouthful of yes I know, their album I'm in Your Mind Fuzz.
I'm in Your Mind Fuzz.
Yes,
Okay.
that is a 2014 album. It hello Jordan, give us little waves. It's a pretty straightforward psych rock album. It incorporates. It's kind of the best place to kind of get all of what King Gizzard has to offer. It has all the like top of the album is their signature song blending style that kind of carries over into albums after this. You get some nice jazz flute in some of the songs. You get a nice healthy dose of harmonica.
I do like jazz flute.
Yeah. You have like some like rockin' psychedelic jams. You have some slow jams. It's all kind of everything that King Gizzard and Lizard Wizard has to offer.
Okay.
in that album. But the album that I want to talk about, we're probably going to end up talking about the most, is their album Nonagon Infinity, which is, they bill it as the first infinitely looping album, where each song, the end of each song loops into the next song in the track.
And the last
listing.
song loops into the first.
Yeah, at the very end of the album, the notes at the end of that song loop right back up to the top of the album. So they encourage you to listen to it with the repeat button active, which like I don't know anyone who ever uses that ever. So like this one actually encourages you to use that button.
All right,
and it's
cool.
super cool. But yeah, I recommend you listen to start with I'm in Your Mind Fuzz. Nonagon Infinity is one of their it's their most kind of mainstream big success albums. And then any of the other ones, like they have one of my favorite albums is Microtonal Flying Banana. They experiment with like some microtones in there, and Murder of the Universe, which is a like kind of metal rock opera of 3 different tales of the end of the world.
That sounds something that's right up Pat's alley.
Yeah, that's definitely sounds like something that Pat would be into. Yeah, but all their albums are super, super different and super great in their own regards. And yeah, go check out King Gizzard and the Lizard Wizard. probably be talking the most about I'm in Your Mind Fuzz and definitely Nonagon Infinity.
Cool. So I will definitely listen to those 2 albums. And then if I have enough time, I kind of go through everything else. Because I find that how I listen to music is I get like an album or 2 or a new artist or whatever, and I have to listen to them enough until I feel comfortable with them, and then I can move on to more stuff. So I like very slowly expand my music library, but then as I expand it, I end up knowing all the songs in there really, really well. So I will definitely listen to those 2 albums, and we'll see within 2 weeks if I get to more of them.
Sweet. Yeah. And the albums are like decently short. Like they all average like 40 minutes.
Okay.
Like 10 songs per track. Or
Yeah.
10
So it's not like
tracks
the
per album
Unleash the
usually.
Archers an hour and 15 minutes with
Right.
like 6 songs or whatever it was.
Yeah. And it's all really quality stuff. I like when I started listening to them, I devoured like 4 or 5 albums in like 2 weeks.
Jeez.
Just like listening to all of them like pretty like on repeat pretty
Yeah.
much.
Well, dang, that's awesome. I'm stoked for it.
Yeah, sweet. King Gizzard and Lizard Wizard next time on the next episode. Thank you very much, Jordan,
Yeah.
for being here with us on this episode this week.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I'm gonna.
Are you also going to listen to King Gizzard and the Lizard Wizards?
Well, I've heard some of it already in the car driving around with Noah.
It's true.
But
I'm kind of obsessed.
I don't know. Maybe. I mean, I've already listened to some of it, so I'm not gonna be on the next episode if that's what you're asking. So.
Well, I wasn't asking that, but now I kind of was. In retrospect, I might have been asking that.
Oh, sort of, in a way.
You'll be here
In
in spirit.
Hey. In my heart.
In
in the
Noah's
hearts
heart.
of all of our viewers and listeners. I always say viewers.
You do say
but
viewers.
you can't watch a podcast.
You can.
Not with that
Unless
attitude.
it's a
On
video
YouTube.
podcast. And on YouTube, you can watch Jordan's lovely art as we
Yeah,
talk over
I'm wearing
it.
a tank in that,
Yeah, it's true.
and I'm wearing a polo right now. A sweaty polo, because it is hot.
Such
That's why you normally
fashionable
wear tanks.
variants.
It is, yeah. I just came from church.
Yeah.
I look very nice. Dashing, some would say.
Dashing, fancy.
Dashing.
Regular Ruby Rod over here.
I'm green.
Super great. Super great. Anyways, I think that's the end of the episode. We will see everyone next time.
You will hear us next time.
You will hear us next
There's
time.
no seeing.
There's no scene unless it's Jordan's art on YouTube.
You
Anyways.
can, you can look at our faces as I have my mouth open going like this.
They can't see what you're doing.
But
I
they could.
provided a sound effect.
Yeah, you knew. We knew.
They can see in their mind's eye. Bye, everyone.
Goodbye.
I was hoping that would be the end.
Oh, mind's eye.
And then just disappear into the podcast ether.
Nice. Hey, we did it.
You did it.
Hey, that was a good episode, Jordan.
So, do you want me to host this one, or do you?
Who hosted
wanna
Johnny
host
Boys?
this one? I think you did.
I think we did. We flipped a rock,
because-
paper, scissors or something, and then I hosted it.
That's right. Yeah.
So we'll just do that again. 1, 2, 3, shoot. Winner hosts. All right, you got it.
Paper covers rock.
Did you forget how that worked?
Did I win? Oh no.
I forget.